Welcome. We're going to be talking about the 3 keys to killing writer's block. All right, guys, so my name is Steve Collin from thesecrets2musicsuccess.com. And today we're going to be talking about the 3 keys to killing writer's block. So I don't know about you, but there's been so many times where I might start writing a song and then I just kind of get, oh, you know what? I kind of like, you get writer's block. You don't know what to write next, and you don't know what to say, and you're like, where do I go from here? And you just kind of like go blank. And then the more you think about it, I'm blank. I can't think of anything. The worse it kind of gets. And but nowadays, I've learned a bunch of these little steps and these little keys that I don't actually overthink it. I don't overthink and be like, oh, I got writer's block, because it kind of doesn't exist. To be honest with you, once you know some of these keys and these little steps, it doesn't exist. It really doesn't. And the number one thing, let's dive straight in. So the number one thing, if you think that there is a perfect word or a perfect solution, if you think that there is that perfect one, well, yeah, you're gonna have that writer's block. You're gonna stop, because it's going to be so hard to find that perfect thing. So if you just erase it out of your vocabulary, number one, there is no perfect. There's no perfect. It's if you just remember that there's just spots for different kind of words, different kind of different kind of melodies and different sounds. There is no perfect. So you've got to remember that. So number one, there is no perfect. So if you kind of start scratching that out of your mindset, that there is no perfect, there's no one way to do something. There are so many different ways, and we're constantly on a journey where we're learning new ways to do things, and there's just many ways. You think about it, if you're on a journey somewhere, how many roads can you get there? How many ways can you get there? There's hundreds of thousands. Maybe I'm in Colorado here now, and maybe I want to go on a road trip up to, let's just say, to California. I can go through the mountains, I can go down through Arizona, I can stop off and we go up to the Yellowstone National Park on the way back down. There's just so many different ways. So if you just scratch it out, you got to remember, there is no perfect, there's no one way to do it, and so that's number one. So scratch that out of your thinking and out of your philosophy. Number two, now this is a good one. I use this a lot, because once you've got there is no perfect, you get it out of your brain. Okay, there's no perfect. Well, what do I write now? What do I do? How do I fill in these spots? Write anything. There's something that I use a lot. It's called placeholders. Now, what I'll do is I'll write a verse, and it might be, I might have like a whole line, 2 lines of it, or maybe even 3 lines of it is just placeholding. And I'll actually come back to that and re-edit it and work it out, because once you know that there's no perfect, and then you're like, okay, let's go, let's just keep writing, then what you're going to come up with is placeholders. And so you're going to go back and rewrite that. You just got to remember that writing songs and coming up with these melodies is not about writing, it's about rewriting, it's about redoing these melodies. It's like, it's not always that first one is it, that's it, you've got it, that's I've had people come up to me and say, this song just came to me, and this is it. It's just like, check it out. And I ask them, how many edits did you do, or how many revisions of the lyrics or the melody? And they're like, nope, this is the one. This is all that it comes out. And I'll tell you what, sometimes that kind of works. Sometimes it just flows, but there's always a process that comes before that. It's being in that vibe, being in that mood. But a lot of the time, it needs to be tweaked. A lot of the time, I would probably be safe to say that 95% of everything that I do gets tweaked. Maybe even more, maybe 99% of everything gets tweaked. There's parts and elements of, I might write a melody or something, and I'm like, oh, that's good. Especially in the time, I'll be like, oh, that's all great. It's all great. It sounds really good. But the next day I come back to it and be like, oh, yeah, there's something needs to be changed on that, or that needs to be worked here, and tweak this. And so just remember that you're always going to be crafting it. So number 2, you got to write anything, use those placeholders. And then of course you come back to it, and of course you're going to like tweak until you get that right. And actually one more thing I'll add on that, on those placeholders, is the faster you kind of get through the song and you got the placeholders, all of a sudden you have a song, you have something that you can actually use. You have something that's done. It's something that could get licensed, and there's something that could get used by someone. Now, you can always send that to another co-writer, and they can tweak it away and take over, and you can do a 50-50 or whatever split you want to do. So that's one way. But then also you can come back to it with fresh ears and you can rewrite it, but you've got a whole song. It's not like just an idea, because I don't know about you, but I have hundreds and thousands probably of ideas on my mobile phone, on my iPhone, like on memos. I've got like hundreds of ideas, like, oh, that's cool. And you write like a couple lyrics, or you've got all these great little lines, but I don't often go back to them much, because they're just ideas. They're like just little nuggets, and it's not like, it's not like it's formed into this masterpiece. It's not even there. If you've got like all these nuggets of gold versus an actual necklace or an actual sculptured thing out of gold or something, it's nearly there. It's actually nearly there, and you want to go back to it and kind of tweak it. So the good thing is, if you just put down those verses, you just put down the placeholders, you do your chorus or your pre-chorus, or you do another verse, or even just use the same verse again, and then a couple of choruses, boom, you've got a song. You've got an actual song. Yeah, you want to go back and tweak it, but you have something. And so versus, if you've hit that writer's block and you're like, oh, I'm trying to find the perfect thing. Or, you're like, I don't know what to write. Well, write anything. If you don't know what to write and you're just sitting there, and then you're an hour's up and you got to go, or whatever, you're done, you've got nothing. And it's like, I promise you, got to use those placeholders and write anything. All right, number 3 that I really like, and it's a little fun little exercise that I want you guys to do. So first of all, number 1, there's no perfect, so just get that out of your system. So number 2, write anything, just write anything, and you've got placeholders. You can go back and edit it. Now it's like, okay, well, I get it. Now I want to write something. What do I write? And I still kind of can't come up with any ideas. So here, have you heard of a word cloud? So that's number 3, a word cloud. So what that is, and it's kind of fun. I like to do it. It's kind of really creative. It's like you write one word. Let's say the theme of the song. Go for the theme. Like let's say the theme of the song is together, together always, or together. And actually, on that note, if you want to download my free top 20 themes that music supervisors are always requesting, go to thesecretstomusicsuccess.com. The link is, I'll put the link in the comments there, and download my free PDF. There's a top 20 themes that because if you're sending your music, if you want to get your music on film and TV, if you want to actually make income while you're doing what you love, you've got to know what they're looking for. You've got to be able to give them what they want. And so download that. It's a free PDF, so just go ahead and download that. And there's also some bonus mixing tips and pop production tips for songwriting as well. So download that. Make sure you do that. It's really, really awesome. But yeah, getting back to this word cloud, it's really, really cool. I love doing this. It's like, let's put the word in the middle, together. I think we said together. So togetherness or together. And then you just draw a circle around it. That's your main, maybe that's the title of the song, or maybe that's your theme. And then do a little arrow pointing out to the next word, the very next word that comes to you. Maybe it's fun, and so then put fun. And then the next one is maybe good. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. If I was writing it down, this is what I would do. Another line, good. And then have another line, togetherness, because let's just call the first one together. Always, that's just coming off the top of my head. Friends is another one. Always, we did always. Good, we did good. And so basically, I've just already got like 5 or 6 words there. And so then this is the fun part. Okay, so your word is together. Now go ahead and use those words, put them up against each other. So let's do good together. That's pretty cool as a song title. Together good. Always, so together always. That's a cool one. That all of a sudden, together always. Ooh, okay, so now we have a song. So now we're like, together always. I could write, could be a love song, could be best friends, it could be you and your dog. It could be you and your truck. Think about car commercials. The guy walks out to his car or his truck, and it's like, he goes everywhere with it, goes up the mountains, it's all sorts of terrain, together always. That's pretty cool. And you can go that route. And so all of a sudden, just by creating this word cloud, all of a sudden we've come up with some others. Let's see if I remember some of the others. One was good, one was always, one was fun. Fun together, or together fun. That's pretty different. Together fun. Together fun, always together. I don't know. Now we start to get all different creative. And if that doesn't work after you do a couple of minutes of that, and you just nothing's gelling with you, nothing's got you, set you off to the races, and you're like off you go. If that doesn't work, do another word cloud. Pick another word. Like you could actually go, maybe you said, we said together, and then togetherness was, you like the word togetherness. So do togetherness, put a circle around it. What comes after that? What, just write down, just use whatever you've got, like whatever comes in your head. You don't have to use it. You just write it down. Because what happens is in writer's block is when you, first of all, when you think there's a perfect, you stop. Your brain says, write down the word good, and you're like, oh no, I don't want to use the word good. It's been done a million times. And you stopped yourself. You stopped the creativity of flowing. And so if you write down the word good, it's out of your system. Then you're on to the next one. Fun. Got it. No, fun. Happiness. Got it. Good. And you just can't flowing, and you just like, it's like turning on the creativity, turning on the tap, and last thing I'll say is, if you remember when you were a kid, and even if you watch kids these days, if they're painting or if they're drawing a picture, they just do it, They're not worried about, oh, how good is this? They're just doing it, and you ask them, what is this? And they'll say, oh, it's the picture of the family, but it looks like, who knows what it looks like, but to them, they're just doing it, and they're not judging themselves. And so I really think that we all need to, get back to that basic of not judging your work, not waiting for that inspiration or that perfect timing. You just keep doing, give those placeholders, just get it happening, and I promise that will break your writer's block. So let's just recap again. Number one, there is no perfect. Get that out of your philosophy. Just get that out. There is no perfect. Number two, write anything. Use placeholders. Like, they're just placeholders. You write anything. And number three, do a word cloud if you need to. That's just, and so these are just great keys just to killing that writer's block. So if you use these, I promise you'll be able to just produce music, you'll be able to produce songs, and you'll just be able to keep at it. Because, in life, it's so often, it's a quality game. You've got to get the quality, but you also have to have the quantity. You can't just have that one thing and expect, the whole world to just discover that one thing. We hear so many stories of like, that people have been doing it for years, or that wasn't their, they got a number one hit, but they've written hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of songs. You hear stories about actors, they're going to auditions after auditions, they're taking classes, they've taken all sorts of stuff, and they've been in the world, and then they get their break. And I was actually just heard a story about Jim Carrey. He was like, the guy telling the story was saying that he was in a he was doing like a writing session or doing some music for somebody, and Jim Carrey lived with him before he was Jim Carrey, and every single time that he went over and they did writing or whatever, and they used to hang out, Jim Carrey would come out and be old Jim Carrey, and it was really funny because he couldn't he's like, oh no, but it was like annoying to him at that time. But that was Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey, and obviously he's hilarious and he's awesome. So it's just really, really funny. But awesome. Well, hopefully that helps you guys, and I know it will. So that's how you stop writer's block. And the last thing I'll say is, make sure you head over to that and download that free PDF. And if you need any of the it's all in the comments there if you need the link. And I will see you next time.